Welcome to my first Photoshop tutorial on how to use gradients to create 3D objects. My first example will be a 3D cone, and I'll just show you with the outline. After you make the outline, using the magic wand to select the inside and using a I think it's a linear gradient on this layer. And on the other layer, a reflected gradient. And on this, we'll add a bit of noise. Make it look like it's spray painted. In these two layers, one of them we're going to have to put a linear burn, and that makes it look like, well, the top isn't so bright, so it looks more realistic, and we'll just merge that down and just have to blur it. Filter, blur. I put blur more. I could have put a bit more on that. But we're finished with the first example of the cone. We'll go to the one with the shadow. To read my tutorial, it's basically the same thing with the shadow gradient and noise. And the transparent one is more interesting. There's 3 layers. The first is the original cone, and bring the opacity down on the first layer, and you can play with the other opacity on the other layers as well to get it look just right. My second example will be just a simple 3D cube, and I'll redo it here real quick. After you do the outline, it's basically going back to the magic wand and selecting each area, putting a linear gradient, blue color. And just for the first 3D cube, it's very simple. I'll get the third one done. And after this, we'll select everything. Click the outside, then inverse. Put some noise on it. It's a little bit too high here. Bring it down about 5 or 6. And click that to turn off the magic wand, and then we'll just blur it. And that's a quick example here. Now we'll go to the 3D cube with a shadow. The shadow is made the same way except with a gray gradient. And the gradient for the cube is a bit different for the shadow as well. Let's go to the transparent cube, which is laid out a bit differently in order to get the transparency looking right. There's the outline, and we have 4 gradients with different opacity levels. The 3D sphere is the simplest of all. It's just a circular selection that you put a 1 pixel stroke on, and use magic wand to click the middle, and keep playing around with the radial gradient until the spot looks just right. Add a bit of noise and blur this. If we add a shadow to the sphere, I'll go to the 3D sphere shadow group here. We can make it look like the ball's kind of, or the sphere is kind of hanging in the air with a shadow behind it. Let's close this group and go to the transparent example. And it's just two layers, one with a larger radial gradient and the other one with a smaller one. And bringing the opacity down on both of them until it looks just about like this. It looks like the light is going through it at an angle. Our final example will be the cylinder. We'll make it yellow this time. In the outline layer, we use a linear gradient for the top, and in the middle, a reflected gradient to get it kind of shiny in the middle. Okay, I'll close that and then check out the shadow layer, our group, and the for the cylinder, the see the outline, and the cylinder has different angles of gradients, linear gradients, and the shadow is quite simple. Now for the transparent example, which has I think four layers of gradients, 2 linear gradients and 1 in the middle. If you want to read my tutorials, please go to my website, and you can read them at your own pace.